There's a church in the neighborhood that is noisy. I'm telling you, you can't sleep. It's almost 10 and they just started the Akesha. With a neighborhood in Tengela. Prayers special ongoing. You can hear in the background. And it had by that. Okay, it's an altar of prayer tonight, today in my neighborhood, as you can hear. Altars have become a popular awareness recently as political shape. Impeachment of the deputy president and his wife, Pastor Rigathi, spilling the beans about the structures of government. You see, she proclaimed that this is not something that's sorted by the court, by parliament, by senate, and the legal constitutional mechanism, according to her. It's the altar that is ahead of the government. She spilled the beans. If you are hearing something different, now you know who have power over rules and powers of governments of the earth. Not the guys who you elect and send to parliament. Not the ones that you vote for. Real power is in the altars. And I want to confirm to you for sure, she spilled the beans. You need to be aware that no matter the outcome, the influence, the authority, and the power in all governments has an altar from where it's established, and without that altar, that government cannot stand. That's a secret that many people do not know. They are not aware. They only say it's our people, mtu wetu, we have taken them to parliament to prevent us. But now it's getting into the right. You are getting to know the secrets. That the powers and the rulers and the dominions and the strongholds of rules over the earth are established on altars. But many people do not know what altars are. So I'll be taking off from here to create an awareness of altars. I will be targeting to show you how those powers of altars operate. I intend to show you how we can win against the powers and the rules over our land, not through the structure that you are aware of, the government, the legislature, the judiciary, but from the altar. So if you want to have power over a government that is oppressive, you need to know the altar from which it has been established. Because that's the source, that's the main source of power. You don't chase it out there with the police, riots. I need to have Kenyans cool down and know that demonstration, boycotting, having masses storming State House, turning the police, burning government property, shaming the government, castigating corrupt politicians. The situation that we are having in our country is beyond reforming those institutions. The dire situation we have in the country is from altars. Kenya is one of the hotbed of altars that come from east, that come from the west. They converge in Kenya. Kenya is the place whereby they have zoned for many altars, and there is continuous visitation from other altars from the east and from the west, convergence places for altars. So it's also an alert to watch, because you see the government coming from altars now have been revealed, and now we are getting to see where the altars are and demolish them and uproot them, crack them down, burn them up. And then from there, it's an easy task to deal with the rest of the rules and dominions and powers. I will also be establishing and raising altars of the liberation of the birthright of the nation of Kenya, with an altar that has been neglected. We will remove the altars of Mtakakitu and sharing of roots, and then we are going to establish the altars of righteousness. The first altar we shall be establishing is the altar of the birthright of the nation of Kenya. That's the nation that is located to the east of the source of the Nile. To the east of the source of the Nile is the nation that I called and I chose. You see, it wasn't Joseph knowing miraculous events and happening that they're going to be drought for 7 years and then bumpers harvest for 7 years without the source of the waters and the seeds and the humus to come and water Egypt. They only knew that was happening in Egypt as the flood came and brought water for the harvest, and as the water receded and there was hunger. But what was it that was happening at the source of the water, the source of the Nile? And it's now been told from long ago, the nation to the east, to the sunlight of the source of the Nile. The pyramids in Egypt and the technology therein made over the Sudan many more pyramids and other pyramids in Uganda. You see the pyramids in Uganda more prominent, but because of the weather condition being situated near the Congo forest and the rain have eroded. But what were they seeking in order to foretell Joseph's dream in Egypt? They were seeking the source, because they knew without the source, the phenomenon that was happening at the source, and the nation to the east, which I, the Lord, have chosen and called as my own, as my nation, as my republic, taifa langu, my republic, and my land, and my birthright, for me and my generations, and generations, and generations. And from there, I, the Lord, shall call out the covenant that I hid. So we shall be looking, and you can see when we come to establish the altars of the nation of Kenya, we are not coming from around here, we are coming from above. I also will show you the altars that we shall be establishing for the prosperity and for the headship of the rise of the nation that I, the Lord, will call to safeguard from slavery. Now you have been ruled by the European from the West for 300 years. The transition of the world powers and rules are changing hands, and they are coming from the East. And if you get to the trap of the East, it will not be 300 years, it will be another 1,000 years of slavery. So what am I coming to do? I'm coming to show you how to arise and safeguard your freedom. Africa, moment of freedom is now. Because then after you don't listen to me, as you've been in slavery from the West, then you enter slavery to the East for a long period until you call to me, then I will come. But before it happens, I, the Lord, have sent my word to come and alert you and reveal to you the things that you must do to safeguard and protect your nation and my birthright and my land that I gave to my people for generations of inheritance, the land filled with the water, the great lake land that fed the Pharaohs. Then I, the Lord, shall show you the altar from which I will call my church. And the altars of Jezebel, Nimrod, Zeus, and the Jesuit that have been raised. And now those altars are being ruled by the altars of karma. The altars of karma are gathering. You know what karma is? Yeah, something happened. Something evil happened. And karma means that now is the time that karma wants to repay. And when karma, the spirit of the altars of karma operates, it's revenge. It's pay for pay. It's war. Yeah, if your brother ever done anything to you that is bad, it's for him to pay now. That karma. And that's the gods that have been raised in all those places that are proclaiming altars. The altars are telling the government. They're starting to speak, posing like they are guiding the government, telling the government that there are thieves in the government, there are people stealing in the government, and those thieves should do this. But I, the Lord, come proclaim judgment begins in the house of the Lord. You will not judge the thieves in the government until the judgment has been fulfilled in my house, the house of the Lord. That which they have called corruption will be judged first in the house of the Lord. Those whom they have called the thieves out there in the government, before they are judged, judgment will come to those who are in the house of the Lord, and the altars will be demolished, and we are going to raise new altars for the church that we will call my church. And then we will establish altars of birthright and prosperity over the nation of Kenya. And then I, the Lord, shall fulfill my promise to my people, because I have heard the cry. There are those who are saying, the voice of the people, is it the voice of God? Is it written anywhere? It is not written anywhere in the Bible that the voice of God is the voice of the people. But this is the Lord says, that in their tears and cries and fears, I, the Lord, have heard them. If God didn't write it in the Bible, in the tears and the cries and the fears in their heart, I, the Lord, have heard. And people are saying, have the Lord heard the prayers of the people of Kenya? Yes, have God spoken over the nation? Have there been the voice of God speaking over the nation of Kenya? And then the voice of God is the voice of the people, but it is not written anywhere. But this is the Lord says, in their tears, in their cries and fears is written, and I, the Lord, have heard. He doesn't read those things that are written in the text. He listens to their heart. He listens to their mind, and have heard their fears, their cries, and fears in their heart. And he has heard them say. And when he speaks, he says what he had in their tears. That which is written in their tears, that is written in their cries and their fears, have heard. They say, this is how we love our government to govern us. This is how we would want our officials and government to rule over our nation. This is how we would prefer, we would want our leaders to govern our resources. I, the Lord, have heard them in their cries and their tears. That's what they say. And it's not written in the Bible that the voice of God is the voice of the people, but it is written in their eyes, in their ear, in their tears, in their cries, in their fears, in their hearts. They are afraid. They have uncertainties. And I, the Lord, have heard it, because that is written in their hearts. I don't judge from the things that are happening. I judge from the heart, and their hearts are full of dread and tears and cry, and it's written there. This is what the Lord, I, the Lord, heard them say. This is how we would like our leaders to govern our resources in our nation. And that voice have come from the young. I write to you, young men, because they are strong. Have spoken from the elders, have spoken from the young, and the elders and the middle one, and have spoken and said, this is how we would love our leaders to govern our land. So then somebody saying, has the Lord heard? Has he spoken? Head on this, I'll be showing you how we're going to establish the altar of the birthright of the nation of Kenya. So I'll be inviting you to keep posted with me. The moment we establish and believe in the birthright of our nation, and I will show you the altar of the birthright of the nation. There is no equal to it, because it's a place where everybody, whoever comes with a convoy and whoever is held there in a wheelchair, the power that they hold to enter the holies of holies and give the sacrifice equal of one power. The guy who is poor, the guy who is rich, when he comes to the altar, the only one sacrifice does he bring. And the sacrifice of the poor man and the sacrifice of the rich man hold the same weight and is counted as one. And I will be showing you how we shall enter into the holies of holies and deliver the one sacrifice. And I will guide you on how to choose. And we shall overcome the altars of Jezebel. This is the Lord says. You give me